Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the class of P2B, and I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. You all are staying home, you are safe, you're doing very well, and like I always repeat, I hope you are taking most from these classes. And the weekend was good. It was full of revision. Of course, you must have enjoyed your time as well. But I hope whatever classes that you attended last week, you took some time out and gone back and gone through whatever you have studied. And in case there are any doubts, you can send it to me, of course. I will be taking up doubts and queries whenever I have time. You know, I keep looking at your queries and I try to answer them side by side rather than keeping and everything together by the end of the class, right? So you know that we were doing chapter number 3 and we are done with connotations, prefix, suffix, and what else? What did we do? Roots of words. So we are done with these concepts, synonyms and antonyms. Now, I told you last time also, like this is the base. We are just telling you about these things so that you can learn vocabulary in a strategic way and you can learn vocabulary in a better way. So I will be continuing with chapter number 3 today and I will be finishing it today because today is the last class for vocabulary here. Right. I tried to answer in the last class and the query sheet that I received, I tried to answer most of the questions, but I think Tejashree, I somehow missed maybe your queries. I missed your queries because I think I answered. So the queries that I missed in the sheet are those queries that I've already answered in the class itself, right? So nevertheless, I think you had some queries regarding vocabulary. For example, you asked what does domicile mean? I told you the domicile is basically the country whom you treat as your home, right? Or a place that you treat as your home. Then you also asked me about some root words. Biblio is a book. AUD is to hear, audio, like, you know, AUD. So is a root word that means hear, right? So from there you come up with these words like audio, right? Because you listen to audio, you hear audio, right? So I hope, I don't think there was anything else that you wanted to know. They were just root words and that I've already answered in the queries or maybe in the previous class or now. Before I begin with today's class, I would just like to answer some queries that I received in the morning. Somebody asked me that will these classes be available for watching after 31st? Yes, the classes are available on YouTube, so you can watch whenever you want to. What is acronym? So acronym is basically you form a abbreviation using the initials of the complete name of something, like, you know, NASA. NASA is an acronym, right? Right. So that's all for now. I don't think I have any more queries as of now. So I will be continuing. The rules that remain the same for every class. You should have your ICAI material with you handy. I told you that this material is wonderfully written. Everything is there in this material. So you should always start from this ICAI material. If you want to expand your knowledge, if you want to learn more, of course, you can Google, you can buy some more books, you can practice as much as you want. But your base should be this ICAI material because all the concepts are there and the concepts are explained. Everything is there, right? So your material should be handy with you. I keep referring it in between my classes. Your notebook, your pen, everything should be ready with you. And of course, whenever I ask you questions, please ready to quickly type, right? I would like to appreciate you all for always answering. It's so good to see that you are responding to the questions that I ask you. And when you send me answers, it gives me assurance about 2-3 things. One is, of course, you are listening to me. You are with me in the class. Second, you are trying to answer. Most of you get the answers right. There are few, maybe they miss some answers. That is okay because you are still in a learning process. So even if you get the answers wrong, it's totally okay. What matters right now is that you're trying, you are participating when I'm asking you to participate. So even if you're wrong, I hope when I discuss answers, you get to know where you are wrong and you learn and you will not repeat that mistake again. So all of that said and done, let me start with today's class, and today we will be starting with phrasal verbs, right? Now, what are phrasal verbs? If you look at this phrase or, the name of the concept, phrasal verb, do you remember we discussed about phrase? What is a phrase in the first class that you had with me during the chapter 2 when we started? So what is a phrase? Now, phrase is a group of words, yes, that maybe doesn't make sense together, but it is used as a part of a sentence, right? So verb. Now, phrasal verb means when you make a phrase out of a verb, right? So how do you make it? How do you make a phrasal verb? You attach a preposition or an adverb with a verb to make it a phrasal verb. And these phrasal verbs, of course, have their own meanings, right? And they are used as part of sentences. Am I clear? So phrasal verbs are the phrases, or you can call them compound verbs, right? So you attach a preposition or an adverb with a verb to form a group of words. Am I clear? That can be used together to convey a particular meaning, right? Right? Okay, for example, if I say workout, right? So now this workout, there are two workouts. There's one workout that are together, workout, that is exercise. One is workout. You need to work out the situation. So you have to, this difficult situation. That means you have to solve whatever is happening. So you need to work out. You have to find a solution. You have to solve the problem. So work out, if you see, work is a verb, out is a preposition, right? So together it becomes workout and it has a meaning which is solve. Am I clear? Another example that you want is look through. Okay, so I say look through it, right? That means that examine it. Now there's one word look and then there is through. Verb plus preposition becomes a phrasal verb, right? Look through. So that means to examine something. Am I clear? Looking through the glass, right? So looking through the glass, there is a book also by this title, Look Through the Glass. I think it's based on Alice in Wonderland. So look through the glass is basically to examine through the glass. Am I clear? Do you understand the basic of what phrasal verb is? I hope yes. It's super easy, super easy. And if you learn about phrasal verbs, they're very exciting to use also when you are having a conversation, when you're writing something. So, and maybe there are many of you who already use a lot of phrasal verbs, right? So phrasal verbs, why do we use them? Why do we use them? The knowledge of phrasal verbs actually enriches your text, even though we do not use phrasal verbs too much in the formal language. When we are having a formal conversation, maybe when we are writing a formal email, right? Because that might not convey the right tone that you're trying to say, you're trying to speak in, right? So phrasal verb is not majorly used in formal language, but informally, yes, you use phrasal verbs a lot. Right? I want you to look through this PPT so that you understand better. The PPT has already been uploaded. I hope you all have figured out how to download the PPT. I still get queries like how to download the PPT. So I hope you've already figured out. It's something to do with ICAI website. You have to go to your students link and there you'll find all the PPTs and worksheets and query boxes, everything, solution to query boxes, everything is there, I think. Okay. So, phrasal verbs. Now, phrasal verb is a type of compound verb. I've already told you, made up of a verb, plus a preposition adverb, right? So I've told you either it's a preposition or adverb. Something is going to be added. Phrasal verbs are sometimes called two-part verbs, right? Or three-part verbs. It can be two-word phrasal verb or it can be three-word phrasal verb. It totally depends, but it totally works out that way. So there is one quote that I've already mentioned here, which also kind of I would say supports this idea that I've already shared with you, that we use phrasal verbs mostly in informal conversations and when we are talking informally, right? Not formally. So there's a linguist, Angela Downing, who is quite famous. She points out that phrasal verbs are one of the most distinctive features of present day informal English, both in their abundance and in their productivity. Right? So what does that mean? So we use phrasal verbs so much that, and it conveys the meaning also. People understand. Right? So when I say, if I say, bring down, right? Bring down the volume, right? That means I am asking you to lower down the volume. Yes, bring down. So I can just say bring down the volume instead of saying lower down the volume or, make the volume lower. However, so bringing down makes it a very refined way of saying it. It is literally enriched, right? If I say, bring in your guest, I would like to meet them, right? Bring in your guest means introduce your guest. So bring in, right? Instead of saying introduce your guest or get your guest to my home, I can say bring in your guest, right? So I would like to meet them, right? That means introduce your guest because I would like to meet them, right? If I want someone to put away something, like, I want some object to be moved from one place to another, I can just simply say put it away, right? I don't have to specify what I'm saying. I don't have to make it a very long sentence. I can just simply say put it away, right? I want the position of this object to be changed. Am I clear? Okay, so phrasal verbs are also used in idioms a lot. Now, what are idioms and how phrasal verbs are part of idioms? I will discuss when we are doing idioms. Am I clear? I want you to look at this list of phrasal verbs that I've given you. Right? So there's a list of phrasal verbs which is mentioned on page number 3.16 and page number 3.17 that goes on till 3.18 page of your course material. And they are those common phrasal verbs that we use in everyday conversations. Right? So there are some more that I have made the list of in these two slides. I would want you to go through them whenever you have time after the class. But I'll just pick one or two so that I can explain you what I'm trying to do here, right? Now, have you seen whenever there are some terms and conditions mentioned, right? Whenever you want to say that you agree with the terms and conditions or you go with the rule or the law and you totally follow it, do you use the phrase abide by? Yes. Yes. I abide by the rules. Right? So you use this phrasal verb a lot, and if you must have seen it online also whenever we are signing up for something and maybe we are filling up a form, abide by is used a lot. This is a phrasal verb, which means to respect or obey a decision, a law or a rule. Right? So if you look at the example here, if you want to keep your job here, you must abide by our rules. That means you need to respect our rules, you need to go as per our rules. Am I clear? Right? So if I say add up to make sense, right? Now what does add up means? To make sense, seem reasonable. Now if you see add up, this is not the literal meaning of it, but add up together makes the meaning as to make sense. When you add up to the facts, when you add up to more excuses, or maybe you add up to more reasons to make sense what has exactly happened. Right? So you say add up. Right? Yeah. So now allow for, appeal to, apply for, these are all phrasal verbs. Right? appeal to, right? I filed an appeal to the court, right? Oh, the example is already there, related to court. So I appealed to court, right? That means I made a request, or maybe I plead, right? Okay, next is drop in, drop off, drop out. Now, can you see these three, right? So what is drop in? If I tell someone, why don't you drop in sometime, right? Or drop in today. Can I drop in for coffee today? Right? That means I'm asking, can I visit you today? Drop off is to deliver something. Now, these three are very important, and maybe people confuse them and use it in a different context. So if you use it in a different context, then that means the meaning of the entire text would change. Now, drop off. I was so tired after work that I chose to drop off on the sofa, right? So basically, I slept on the sofa, right? I drop off. Drop out. So drop off is also to deliver something. I'll drop off the papers later today. I'll drop off the package at your aunt's home, right? Drop out, to leave school without finishing, right? Zach dropped out of college and joined the army, right? Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of the college and started Facebook, right? So he dropped out. Yeah, so drop out means somebody who's left the college, right? Or school without finishing it. Ease off, end in, end up. Now, end in and end up, right? Now, this is again different and can be used differently. End in, result in, right? End up, to finally reach a state, state or place or a particular action. Am I clear? Am I clear with phrasal verbs here? Yes. Do you understand what I'm trying to teach you here? With how phrasal verbs work? Now, these phrasal verbs have their own meanings. So you can simply use the phrasal verb to explain whatever you're trying to explain rather than just going round and round and round about it. Right? Am I clear? You can see, you can actually look at your course material also, the page number 3.17, the one section of phrasal verb which is after take something out. Now, bear with someone. If I say I'm bearing with someone, that means, I am just being patient with someone, right? That I have no mood to bear someone, but I'm just bearing someone out of patience. Bear up something, to change hands, to go from one person to another, right? Okay, to do away with something, to be all ears. Okay, to be all ears and to be all eyes is again used very informally and it's used quite casually. So to be all ears is I am ready to listen to you, right? And to be all eyes is that I am watching something. I'm ready to watch something. Am I clear? Okay, hang on. I can just tell my friend that, please hang on for me. Just wait for me, right? Hang together. Let's hang out together. That means let's just get along and let's just go out somewhere. They were hanging together in the garden. They were just having a good time and they were moving together. They were just to be together. In the long run, this won't be useful to you. That means in the long run means I'm talking about something long term, right? Now these are very common ones. I'm sure you have already been using all of this in your everyday conversations, right? But having awareness about these phrasal verbs is very important because at times, like I just said, let's take an example of drop in and drop off and drop out, right? Now drop in means is to visit someone. Drop out is not the opposite of to visit, right? Do you understand this? So do not take it as drop out has altogether a very different meaning and drop in has a very different meaning altogether, right? So if you do not have an awareness about phrasal verbs, if you don't know how to use them, then maybe you can use it in a wrong context and the meaning goes all haywire. The meaning is all wrong, right? And maybe if somebody else is using some phrasal verb and if you do not know the meaning of the phrasal verb, then you will not even get the context, right? Like for example, somebody said, I dropped out of school, right? You might think that, okay, dropout is the opposite of drop in. If you don't know what is the meaning of dropout. So you might think that, okay, maybe this is the opposite. So drop in means to visit and dropout might means to leave. That is fine. But he's not saying to leave. It is not general leaving a place. It is about leaving a school or college without finishing a degree or without finishing a course, right? So it is not casually leaving something. It means that you have interrupted your course in between and you're just left for life. Am I clear? Yes. So, and using phrasal verbs, of course, will make your conversations very easygoing and, it can make your conversations very good because you are using some phrasal verbs, right? And phrasal verbs are also used quite a lot in the imperative sentences also. Am I clear? Right. Now, are you ready for a small exercise, a 5 minutes exercise? Yes. So this is going to be about phrasal verbs. You need to look at the sentences that are mentioned on the screen, right? And there are two examples that I've given in each sentence. So you do options that I've given you. So you have to fill the blank with either of the options given to you, right? So for this, and there are 2 slides ready for this. So for 1 slide, and there are 7 sentences, I will give you about 3 to 4 minutes, right? So can we start discussing at 11? This is 11:21 right now. I'll start discussing at 11:25 or 26, right? Your time starts now. You can also send me the answers like you always do. Right, can we start? Are you guys ready with your answers? Alright. His father always taught him not to dash those people with less. Now, so there are two options given here. Look up to and look down on. Right? To look up to is basically to respect someone. Yes, I look up to him. Like, I admire someone or I respect someone for his work. Right? Look down on. Right? So, not feel good or, do not have respect for someone or, just feel not good about something. Right? And think wrong about someone, I would say. So his father, what do you think would fit here better? Look down on? Yes. His father always taught him not to look down on those people with less. Right? So you shouldn't have any negative thoughts about someone who doesn't have who doesn't have as enough as you have. Right? Stop complaining and dash your work. Now, get on with looks better here, not get over. It doesn't make sense. Stop complaining and get over your work. No, get on with your work. So stop complaining and start doing your work instead of complaining. The boss wants you to dash your figures for this month to him. Now, there's two words, hand out and hand in. What do you think would sound better here? Or what will fit in here? Hand in is to give, right? Hand out is to, give it to someone else, like, just delegate and distribute something, right? So hand in, like, you need to submit your figures for this month to him. We are going to dash our trip to Spain until September, right? So there are two words here, put up and put off, right? So put off means that you are delaying something. Am I clear? To delay something, right? Now, put up means to tolerate something. Am I clear? To tolerate doesn't make sense here. Now, if you see put up and put off, again, they have two distinct and two different meanings that are poles apart. They are not even somewhere around each other also. So if you do not know what does a put up mean and what does a put off mean, you might get this thing wrong, right? So put off means to delay something. Am I clear? I dashed Amir today to the supermarket. It was great to see him. Ran out of or ran into. Now, ran out of means that, so I ran out of sugar today. That means my sugar was finished, right? And I needed it and it's finished, right? Ran out of, that means you do not have sufficient resources. Ran into is to meet someone. I ran into Amir today at the supermarket. So ran into is basically you're going somewhere and you accidentally meet someone. So that is ran into, right? So you will not say, I had guests over and I ran into them. No. So ran into is basically you are going somewhere and you just met someone accidentally or by chance. I am so tired of Sophie dash her engagement ring all the time. Showing off and showing up. Again, if you see preposition up and off is used a lot with phrasal verbs. So showing off and showing up is again two phrasal verbs that have totally different meanings, right? Now, you know what showing off is? Is to brag about something. Yes. So it says, I am so tired of Sophie that she keeps showing off her engagement ring, right? She keeps bragging and she keeps just talking about her engagement ring. Showing up means to, so I showed up on time for the meeting. That means I reached on time, right? So showing up is to reach somewhere. The police would not dash to the kidnapper's demand. Now, give up and give in. Now, again, this have two different meanings. So give up is when you just give up that, I can't do this anymore, right? So I just cannot even bear this anymore. Give in means that you submit yourself and you just, accept whatever the conditions are and you just submit yourself that, okay, just do whatever you want to, right? You don't even want to try further. So the police would not give in to the kidnapper's demand. Like police did not submit themselves. Suppose police did not agree to whatever kidnappers were demanding. Agreed? Was it easy? I hope it was super easy. So I will be looking at your answers a little later. Let me finish this slide also. Again, you have 4 minutes to finish this. This should be easy to you now that I've already discussed the phrasal verbs. So again, you have 4 minutes for this. I will start discussing at 11:34. One minute left. Okay, let's start. I thought I would dash for a cup of coffee. Is that okay? This is easy. We have already discussed the meaning. Drop in. Have you ever dashed such an unusual piece of art? Now, come forward and come across. So come forward is to come forward, to volunteer yourself or, to take an initiative of something. Please come forward, whosoever bag this is or whosoever notebook this is, just come up. Okay. Come across is that, have you seen something like this? Have you ever seen, or, while you were just properly in a market or something, have you ever got an opportunity to see such a thing? Right? So have you ever come across such an unusual piece of art? It's important to dash on time. Now, show off or show up? Can you say it's important to show off on time? No, there is no time to show off and nobody should show off, right? Showing off is not a good habit, right? So it's important to show up on time. Dash your feet when walking. You don't want to trip. Uplift or lift up, right? Uplift is basically to make the situation better, improve, right? So here, lift up, literally, you should lift up your feet if you don't want to trip, and you don't want to fall. Trip means to fall. The tree dash by the wind, blown up, right? He dashed his hat to show me his new haircut. Took up or took off? Took off, right? I just can't seem to dash this book. Get off. Like, I just cannot put this book down. I just want to read. Am I clear? Are we clear with phrasal verbs here? Yes. So now you know which phrasal verb you should know and where to use it, right? I am not saying that phrasal verbs are not used formally, but it's not recommended, right? We try not to use the phrasal verbs. Am I clear? Okay, a small little exercise before I move further, which is about the phrasal verbs only. I am going to give you one simple phrasal verb and you are supposed to make a sentence and send it to me in query box. And I will only give you 30 seconds for this. Am I clear? So I will give you a phrasal verb and I will tell you the meaning also. Look at the page number 3.16 of your handouts. Right? So the first phrasal verb that I'm going to give you is look after. Look after means to take care of someone. Right? The second one is take over. Take over is to take control over something. Right? So two phrasal verbs that I'm giving you and you're supposed to make sentences is take over and look after. Both are given in your course material. One is on the page number 3.16 and one is on the page number 3.17. Right? You have only 1 minute to send me the queries. Sentences in your query box, I mean. Very good. So I've received two sentences. Jitashri, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. Jitashri said, my mother asked me to look after my brother. Very good. Very well done. I know there's some time frame and there's some, we have to type very quickly. But when you're writing this, when you're writing by your own hands or maybe on the online, please take care of punctuation. Ranjita said, has written, you should look after your grandparents. Very well. Yes, you should look after your grandparents. Can I get some more responses so that I can move ahead with collocations then? The next is takeover. Please remember, you have to send me for takeover as well. Nisha, it is look after, not look over. I will look after my parents in the future. Okay. I will take over the best business in the city in near future. Okay. The leader of the group left, so I decided to take over. Uh, Siddharth, this is super good. I'll tell you for two reasons. And everyone, you should listen to me. So Siddharth has made a sentence which is the leader of the group left, comma, so I decided to take over. Siddharth, your sentence structure is also perfect in terms of clauses. There's a main clause. There are two independent clauses. They are joined by a subordinate conjunction so. And the comma is in right place, subordinate conjunction is in right place. So I'm very proud of you, Siddharth. He has took over all my rights. Okay. The chief director would like to take over the decision of the manager. Alright, so now you've already got what I'm trying to teach you here, and most of you have got it right. So let's move ahead and let's move to our next topic, which is collocations. Yes? Okay, so let me first explain you what collocations is. Right? And then I will be showing you a PPT. Now, basically, collocations is the group of words together again, maybe 2 or 3 words that always form a relationship together. Those 2 words are always used together for the best meaning, right? So there is no other word that can be used instead of those 2 words to convey the best meaning, right? For example, you always say heavy rain, not strong rain. Right? So when it's raining cats and dogs, you always say it's heavy rainfall today, right? You don't say strong rain today. You use strong winds. You don't say heavy winds, right? So these are called collocations. When there are 2 words that always come together, they're always used together, right? Strong winds, heavy rain, right? You do not use it interchangeably. You never say heavy winds. You always say, you don't say heavy winds, you say strong winds. Right? Am I clear? High temperature. Right? You never say, you don't use any other word for temperature. It's always high temperature or low temperature. Right? So high or low. Right? You don't say tall, small, big. No. Right? Scenic view. Right? You never say scenic picture. No. Scenic word is always used with a view, right? So there are words who are typically always used together, right? And for example, if you want some more, okay, if I say make a wish, right? This is again a collocation, right? So this word is used together, right? Yeah. So, like I just said, that the 2 words are always used together. You always say fast food, right? Do you say quick food? No. Fast train. Do you say quick train? No. It is fast train, right? I'll take a quick shower, right? That means I'll just quickly go and take a shower, right? You never say fastly or fast shower. No, it is always a quick shower. Right? Let me make you a quick meal. Right? That means something that will not take much time. Right? I don't say, let me make you fast meal. It is fast food, not fast meal. Right? Like I just said, that you have to choose the words very, very carefully here. Am I clear? So, why learn collocations? Right? Why collocations are so important? Right? Collocations are important. It makes your language natural. And you understand it better. Am I clear? Yes. So collocations, having a knowledge about collocations makes your language better. It makes your language more natural. Am I clear? So we are expecting heavy rain today, right? So this is a natural language because we know that these words are used naturally together. Am I clear? Yes. And it is an alternate and richer way of expressing yourself. So whenever you're using collocations in the right context and you're using the right collocation, your language and your expression will get better and richer. Am I clear? Yes. So collocations are always better to use. Like I always say, all of these things that I'm going to teach you today, phrasal verbs, collocations, idioms, these things always make your language richer, enriched, right? It also shows that how much that your language, the knowledge about language, or your concepts about language are how strong they are, right? Okay, so where else can you use, or why you should learn or you should use collocations? Because it is easier for your brains to remember, collocations are very, now, even if before I told you that this is a collocation, heavy rain, you must be using this collocation anyway, right? Because you must have heard about it, you must have listened about it, you must have read about it, right? And it just got stuck in your head, right? So collocations are very, very, very easy to remember, right? And they're very easy to use. You might be using many collocations that you are not even aware of, right? Okay. And the other thing that I want you to tell you is, yes, the another thing is that it enhances your language, like I just said to you, and it leads to innovation. You can make innovations, right? You can definitely make innovations. So you can try out some words together and you can form a collocation together, right? And of course, this is something that don't have to say it again and again. It makes your language beautiful. It beautifies your language when you are speaking, when you're writing, however, right? It just beautifies your language. Am I clear? Yes. Can I show you a PPT so that you understand it even better? Right. Okay, let's look at your screens. Okay. So, like I said, collocations refers to a group of two or more words that usually go together. Now, if you ask me what is collocation means, if you break the word into two parts, co and location, it means together and meaning place. That means collocations are words that are located together, right? I always tell you this, and I've also told you when we were doing types of sentences, that if you understand the meaning of the concept name, like how the concept is named, you will get half of the meaning what it is the concept is trying to tell you, right? So if you divide like phrasal verb, I told you, so it is kind of a phrase which is made out of verbs, right? Now, in previous, when we were doing chapter 2, I told you declarative sentence, interrogative sentence, imperative sentence. You just need to know the meaning of declarative, interrogative, imperative. You would automatically know what it means, right? So similarly, collocation, if you can figure out what is the meaning of co and location. Now, co is again a prefix, which means something together, right? Coordinate, co-working. That means some people who are working together is called co-working spaces. Location is meaning place. So collocation, when it comes together, means that two words that are placed together are located together. Am I clear? Okay. I've already told you that why you should learn the language. I'm not going to repeat this. That is already on your screens. And of course, that's going to be on your PPTs also. Okay. Now, how to learn collocations, right? Like I said, that collocations are very easy to grasp. They are very easy to know and learn, right? So beware of collocations and try to recognize them whenever you see or hear them, right? So if they're collocations, when you read them, try to recognize them and try to remember. There's some striking group of words that you feel that they are right fit for each other. Remember them. Remember them, right? For example, if I say, this company is going bankrupt, right? So with bankrupt, we use go bankrupt, right? So this is again a collocation. Of course, going will change as per the tense of a sentence, but go bankrupt or going bankrupt is a collocation, right? You do not use any other verb with the bankrupt, right? Am I clear? Okay. So if I say profit margin, right? This is again a collocation. You use profit margin a lot, right? Cash flow. I mean, of course, you guys are going to do CA. So you will be using these collocations again and again. Am I clear? Yes. So cash flow, chair a meeting, service charge, make profit loss. These are all collocations, right? So because these words are used together quite often and they mean something together, right? Treat collocations as single block of language, right? Am I clear? When you learn a word, write down the other words and then collate it, right? So when you learn about a word, you can try to collate them together, right? You can just write the word like remember rightly, remember distinctly, remember vaguely, remember vividly. Now these are collocations. Like this remember can be used with so many other adverbs, right? Rightly, distinctly, vaguely, and vividly are adverbs. I hope you know what adverbs are, right? Most of the ly words are adverbs. To tell you in a simplify, it is not that simple, I would say, but in a simple way, I would say, as a basic, just so that we don't get into the basics of adverbs, the ly words are called adverbs. So rightly, distinctly, vaguely, and vividly, these are all the adverbs here. Am I clear? Right? Read as much as possible. Like I said, anything you want to learn about vocabulary, you have to read. Read, read, read. Reading is the key to improving your language. Right? There might be some students for whom English is new, and there are some students who might be doing English since their childhood, right? I'll give you one example. Whenever you are learning a new language, like let's say you are learning French, right? So of course you will be taught about grammar. Of course you will be taught about vocabulary, but of course, besides all of this, they will always suggest you to read. So whenever you read in a new language, you understand better because that's how you learn how the language is used, how the sentence structures are made, how grammar is used, how vocabulary is used. So any key to learn any language is to read. Am I clear? I know so many people who within our country only, they like to learn different languages. Maybe there's some person who's belongs to Punjab and knows Punjabi very well, but wants to learn Marathi. Yes, so that's how they learn. They learn the basics, grammar, vocabulary, basic vocabulary, and then they start reading. So when you read, your knowledge of vocabulary and grammar improves, right? Okay, so revise what you learn regularly. Of course, you have to revise. Like I just say that if you learn something new, try to find an opportunity to use that word. Try to find a place where you can use that word, or you can just practice speaking or writing that word or phrase, whatever, right? Learn collocations in the groups that work for you, right? You could learn by topic. Like I just said, that you guys are going to do CA, right? For you, you can use collocations that are related to your subject, related to your topic. Like I just said, profit margin, make a profit loss, cash flow. These are all collocations that are related to your fields, right? Service charge, right? Blank check. You will be using these collocations a lot. And maybe in your everyday and maybe like thousands times in a day. You can find information on collocations in any good dictionary. Yes, you can find information about these things, and these days things are pretty much easier, and I do not deny this fact that now that we have Google and now that we have smartphones, things are so much easier. So you don't understand anything, please type. You want to find, like you want to find a list of 1,000 collocations. You will have, trust me, you just write something and you have the entire PDF list available online, right? You can start from your course material and then you can find more of the examples online. You will simply get a made list of everything that you can learn and you can practice from. Am I clear? Yes. Are we clear about these things? So good so far. Is there any problem about collocations that you have? The topic is not over yet. We have much more to discuss about collocations that I'm going to teach you now. Can we go ahead? Now, I still have 4 minutes before I take a 5 minutes break. So let me just introduce you with types of locations here. So the types of locations are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are about 7 collocations, 7 types of collocations here. First one is adverb adjective. Okay. Adjective noun, noun noun, noun verb, verb noun, verb expression with preposition, and verb plus adverb. Am I clear? So this basically is going to tell you how you can form collocations and how collocations are made. Like, what are the categories and how you can do it. Like, for example, adverb plus adjective, right? So you say completely satisfied, right? You don't say downright satisfied, all right? You can use meticulously studied. Studied is, of course, an adjective and meticulously is adverb here. Right? So adverb plus adjective becomes a collocation. Then comes adjective plus noun. Right? Excruciating pain. Am I clear? Yes. High fever. Right? Heavy rain. These are all examples of adjective plus noun. Noun plus noun. A surge of anger. Tea leaf. Service industry. Single entry, right? Street name, right? These are all noun plus noun. They come together. Verb plus noun, right? So now verb plus noun is commit-to-side, right? And then you can say dogs bark, water flows, pigs grunt, lions roars. These are all part of, lion roars is noun plus verb. Am I clear? Yes. Undertake project. Undertaking a project. This is again a verb plus noun. Okay. The next one is verb plus expression with preposition, that is burst into tears. Am I clear? Verb plus adverb. Wave frenetically. Right? Perform magically. Sang melodiously. Right? Dance beautifully. Right? So now these are few words. Again, read thoroughly. Am I clear? So these are collocations that we use quite often in our everyday language. Right? This is just to give you an example, or this is just to give you some extra knowledge how you can form these collocations, right? And how you can categorize them and how you can divide them. Am I clear? Yes. So we will be practicing. Okay. You need to look at some of the examples here, but I will show you these examples once we are back from the break. Before I go on a break, I want to look at your queries first. If there is any query that I need to answer right now, I will answer. All right, I don't think that you have any doubts. Yes, profit and loss is a collocation. Is there any doubt? You can please send it to me. Otherwise, we'll take a 5 minutes break quickly and then come back and do collocations and then idioms. Okay. So take 5 minutes break and just go through whatever we have done so far. You can also go through the list of these phrasal verbs and collocations in your ICAI material, and then we will discuss further. I will be back on 12 at 12:05. Jay sir? Yes, sir. All right. So I want you to look at some examples of types of collocations here. If you see adverb plus adjective. Now, what does that mean? Invading that country was an utterly stupid thing to do, right? Utterly is an adverb here and stupid is an adjective here, right? Because stupid is basically you're describing someone. Yes, you're describing a situation here or somebody's decision here. So utterly stupid. We entered a richly decorated room. Richly is an adverb, decorated is an adjective. So this together becomes a collocation. Are you fully aware? Now fully aware, if you know that fully aware is always used together. Yes. Is there any other word that you can change it from, out of these two words? Are you fully aware? Can you say, are you completely aware? Maybe, but fully comes perfectly well here. Are you fully aware of the implications of your actions? Right? Not completely. It's fully. Adjective plus noun. The doctor ordered him to take regular exercise. Right? Now, regular is an adjective here. Noun is an exercise here. The doctor ordered him to take regular exercise. The Titanic sank on its maiden voyage. Right? So maiden is basically an adjective here and voyage is a noun here. Excruciating pain, I've already told you. Noun plus noun, a round of applause, ceasefire agreement, bars of soap. These are all nouns. Am I clear? Yes. Are we clear about these examples here? Okay. Noun plus verb. So now the noun comes before and the verb comes, followed by a noun. After a noun. So a noun is followed by a verb. A lion started to roar when it heard the dogs barking. Right? So if you see, there are two collocations here. In the first part of the sentence is the lion started to roar. And when it started, the dogs barking. So the dogs barking is actually the perfect collocation here. Right? Because in lion started to roar, you have a noun and you have a verb, but you also have a main verb in between. Am I clear? The dog barking is a better collocation here. Snow was falling as a plane took off. Right? The plane took off. Is it a phrasal verb here? Took off. Right? So you will consider it as a verb only. So plane took off. Snow was falling. Right? So snow falls. Right? You do not use any other verb for snow. Right? So it's snowfall or snow was falling, something. I'm so sorry. Am I clear? Yes. The bomb went off when he started the car engine. Right? So the bomb and went off. Verb plus noun. Now the verb comes first and then the noun comes. So committing murder, do my homework, making my bed, give a presentation. Can you use any other collocation while you are making a bed? Is there any other way of expressing it? No. Making a bed is the only collocation that you used when you are putting up a bed sheet and, just doing your bed. Am I clear? He has been asked to give a presentation. You give a presentation. Is there any other verb to describe when you're presenting something or you're giving a presentation? No. So you always use this collocation, that is give a presentation. For a murder, you always use committed a murder or committing a murder. Right? Is there anything else that is used in the language of law also maybe? Is there any other way of putting it? No. Right? Okay. Verb plus expression with preposition. Now there is a expression, right? This entire collocation has some expression with a preposition. So now why preposition comes here? Now if you are relating a verb and an expression, it has to be related with a verb. Preposition, you know that preposition kinds of maintains a relationship between words, right? So we had to return home because he We had run out of money. Right? Right? So now there is a verb here, had run. Right? Out is a preposition here of money. There is entire expression. Out of money is basically expression of preposition. Yes. Now, filled with horror. Filled is a verb, right? There's an expression horror, filled with horror, and with is a connecting word here, filled with horror. Burst into tears, right? Like somebody's crying. There is an expression that somebody's crying, right? So drive anybody to crime. Their behavior was enough to drive anybody to crime. Now, this is again an expression that they're talking about. The behavior was something that it could drive anybody to crime. So this is just an expression here, right? Had run out of money is an expression here, right? That means the money was over, right? They did not have enough money. Now, burst into tears. Now, this is an expression that somebody is crying too much. That is an expression, right? Otherwise, you cannot burst like burst in terms of burst. Am I clear? Filled with horror, right? Literally, you're not filling someone with horror. It's just an expression saying that, the person was scared so much. Am I clear? So these are all expressions that has a verb, that has a preposition. Am I clear? So now these are collocations for you. Now I want you to look at this. Oh, the last one that we are left is verb plus adverb. Whispered softly. Vaguely remember. Right? So there's an adverb and then there is a verb here. So both can come together. Okay, so now there is a list of words that are given to you. You have to use make, do, get or take to form the collocations. Am I clear? Yes. So now what does that mean? Now these are the basic ones that we use, right? And we always use it together to convey a certain meaning or convey a specific meaning, right? So you have only 2 minutes for this. It's super easy. I don't think you should take much time. So 2 minutes for this and quickly get done with it. Can we start discussing? Okay. So lost. What would you use with lost and what do generally people use with lost? Do you say make lost, do lost, take lost, get lost? Right? So get lost is used together. Dash a shower. Do you use make a shower, do a shower, get a shower, or take a shower? Take a shower. Dash a fortune. Make a fortune, do a fortune, get a fortune, take a fortune. It's make a fortune. You make a fortune. Right? Dash ready. Get ready. Dash a picture of someone. Make a picture of someone. You make a painting sketch. You don't make a picture. They are called portraits. So I would say here, take a picture. Dash a suggestion. Take a suggestion. Dash started. Get started. Dash friends. Make friends. Do harm and take a break. right? So I hope you know the meanings of these collocations. I'm not getting into details. These collocations are again used in your everyday conversations, and I'm sure you used almost like 10 of, maybe 8 out of these at least every day. Am I clear? Yes? Okay. So this was about collocations. And if you have any doubts, you can just let me know in the query box. And otherwise, I will start with idioms. Am I clear? So if there is any problem, you can write it to me. Otherwise, I will start with idioms, which is the last topic of this chapter. If it's all clear, you can write to me that it's all clear so that I can just move on. All right. So I hope it is all clear to you. Let's just start with the idioms. Now, idioms are very, very important for you to know. Idioms is also kind of a phrase, or you can say it's kind of a saying or a group of words that has some metaphorical meaning, not literal. Idioms have metaphorical meaning, right? They mean there's certain words that come together and they mean something, right? But if you look at the individual words, maybe they will not form that same meaning. So this is not literal meaning they just have metaphorical meaning attached to it, right? And if you know, idioms are the group of words or phrases that we have been, that are passed from generation to generation, right? So, and idioms as the group of words that the meanings are known universally. So everybody knows that, okay, this is the meaning of this one particular idiom. Like, for example, if I say, can't judge a book by its cover, right? So you can't judge someone by just the looks of someone, right? For example, so now what does this idiom mean? This idiom doesn't mean that you can't judge a book by its cover. It also means from at a human level, or it actually means about a certain situation, right? That you cannot judge anyone or you cannot judge any situation by just having a little information about something, right? Or maybe just by looking at something, right? So that is what idioms do in your language. Why you should know idioms, right? One, of course, the basic thing about vocabulary, it enriches your language. Yes, I think I've been repeating this for every topic, and you might feel that, ma'am just keeps repeating this only. What does that mean, right? But you know, idioms is one thing that is very smart to be used, right? So if you know idioms, you actually are showing that you're very smart. And to use idiom in the right place, in the right context. That is I would say that is the mark of presence of mind, a good presence of mind that also shows how intelligent you are, right? How smart you are, right? So idioms is also can be used like if you want to say something to someone that other person might find it rude, or you know, if you say it in a plain language, the other person might not take it very well. You can use an idiom. Now, idiom can actually convey what you're trying to say in a very refined and in a very good way, right? You can explain a situation by using an idiom, which will actually be a very smart way to do it, right? So now there must be, and there are at least 25,000 idioms till now that we know. If you know that there are similar to this, what you have in Hindi also, I think they're called muhavre, Lokoktiya, something they're called. I always get confused which are proverbs and which are idioms out of these two. But proverbs and idioms are basically, you have it in Hindi also and you have it in every native language, right? That people use them to convey or maybe to express a particular situation, right? So everybody have those things. So in English also we have idioms that are used and you can use it with any person who knows English. Right? Okay, now coming on to native part, before I forget again to tell you this. Whenever you want to learn a vocabulary and whenever you want to remember a vocabulary, you should also know the meaning of that word or maybe that phrase or that idiom in Hindi also. Or in your native language, I would say, not just Hindi, in your any of your native language. Because when you know how a certain word, like what is the meaning of a certain word, what is the meaning of a particular phrase, what is the meaning of a particular phrasal verb in your native language, then maybe you would be able to use it in the right context, right? There is no harm in checking the meaning of a particular word or a particular phrase or a particular idiom in your native language also. That would only make your understanding even better, right? You would know how to explain a certain situation in English even better, right? Am I clear? So you should always know the meaning of anything that you are studying, anything new that you're studying in your native language. Am I clear? Yes, that is good for your understanding. That is good for your explanation part. Then you will be able to use it in a better way. Right, so similarly in idioms also, if you want to just go through the meanings in English, that is perfectly fine. And if there is anyone who wants to look at the meaning of particular idiom in your native language, perfectly well. You should go ahead and do it. That actually speed up your learning process. I personally feel that. You should always do it. Okay, so now coming back to idioms. Now, the meaning of these expressions differ from the literal meanings, like I just told you. Can't judge a book by its cover. Right? So if you go for the literal meaning, maybe I'm talking about one book, but no, I am not talking about a book. Right? So you can't, if I say a hard nut to crack, right? If I'm talking about a hard nut to crack, or maybe dance to tune. Now, if I say there's a idiom called dance to tune, right? So if somebody asks me the literal meaning of dance to tune, I might say that, dance to some musical tune, right? But no. Dance to tune means that to do what someone else is forcing you to do, right? So somebody else is forcing you, maybe intentionally or intentionally, deliberately or not, or even if you're aware of that person's intentions or not, but you are just doing exactly what other person wants you to do. So that means dance to the tunes. Like I say, in order to keep the peace, Peter has to dance to his boss's tune. Like whatever the boss said, Peter had to do it to save his job. Right? Okay. So now, of course, if you know how to use idioms in your particular emails or your particular conversation, that also makes your language quite stylish. It adds just to flavor to your language. It just beautifies it. It makes your things so beautiful. So using idioms is very good. Very good. You should actually try to use idioms quite a lot. Right? Now, they, of course, gives you a interesting insight about user words, languages, and somebody's thought process. Right? It actually tells you about how somebody is feeling about a certain situation. That person might not tell you directly how the person is feeling. That person just might use just idiom to explain how the person is feeling. Am I clear? Okay. Now, idioms are, like I just said, when I was doing the other topics are very easy to do. But idioms are not that easy to do because they do not have a literal meaning, right? And for a native speaker, for non-native speaker, somebody who doesn't understand English perfectly well might not even get the meaning of an idiom. right? Like I just told you that using an idiom is a sign of your smartness and your intelligence and your presence of mind, right? So idioms is once you have a good grip of a language, right? So you should always strive to learn and use the idioms. Am I clear? Yes? Okay. So if you want some examples of idioms. Now, if I say, this is a piece of cake for me, teaching is a piece of cake for me. Now, that means that's something very easy for me to do. Now, piece of cake and something easy to do has no link. But piece of cake metaphorically means something easy to do. Am I clear? So, teaching is a piece of cake, right? Okay, once in a blue moon. So, I see my brother once in a blue moon. That means I see my brother very rarely. Am I clear? So, once in a blue moon. A bed of roses. Easy option. If I say, oh, this was a bed of roses, that means this was such an easy option for me. Right? It was super easy. It was so beautiful. It was so smooth. So it was all bed of roses for me. Okay, if it's raining heavily, this is my favorite idiom and I use this a lot. It's raining cats and dogs, right? That means it's raining heavily, right? Of course, cats and dogs are not being dropped to the ground from the above, from the heaven. No, right? So it's raining cats and dogs is just metaphorically used or figuratively used for that it's raining heavily. Am I clear, guys? Yes? Okay. Apple of my eye. My daughter is my apple of my eye. That means she's very precious to me, right? So mostly people use apple of my eye for somebody, for somebody who's very precious to you, mostly for their kids. Am I clear? Yes? Okay, I want you to look at this PPT very quickly. So can you see I've already told you about these things? Yes? So idioms they add expression, it adds flavor, and this thing, right? I want you to just go through this little practice that I've given you and just go through this and see if you can figure out the meanings of these idioms. You have 2 minutes for this. So if you look at this, there are 3 sentences right in front of you. There is an idiom that I have marked in italics, and there are 3 options given to you. So you just have to tell which is the meaning of this idiom. He has the gift of gab. So he has a gift of gab. That means he is a good conversationalist. A gift of gab is someone who can hold up a good conversation in a good, confident manner and can speak very well. So conversationalist. Okay, this word comes from conversation, of course. So somebody who can do a good conversation is called conversationalist. Okay, parental property has become a bone of contention between the siblings. Right? So now, bone of contention. That means there is some quarrel going on or there's some fight going on between the siblings over the property. Right? So it's a cause of quarrel. Right? There is a disagreement. There are a lot of arguments involved between two parties or two people. Once in a blue moon, we meet each other. So rare, right? So it is very seldom indeed. Seldom means rare. Right, so once in a blue moon means very seldom indeed. That is very rarely. Frequently, no, sometimes no. There's a difference between sometimes and rare. Am I clear? Yes. Okay. Now, if you see how these idioms are used in a sentences, he has a gift of gab. So next time you want to tell someone that a person is so good in the conversation, is so intelligent, or so you can just use that Rohan has a gift of gab. Right? Okay. You want to describe somebody's quarrel, somebody's fight, and somebody's disagreement of someone, you can say a bone of contention. Like, now what is a bone of contention? You have to name that object also. Right? You know why they have a quarrel in between. Once in a blue moon. Right? So once in a blue moon, if you want to talk about something that happens very rarely, so you use once in a blue moon. Right? You should know how to use idioms in a sentence frame or in a sentence structure also. Am I clear? Yes? Okay. Now, if you see this one, have you gone through all the sentences? Right? Okay. So, of course, I have few more sentences ready. But before I show you those sentences, there's a list of sentences, there's a list of idioms that are mentioned in your course material also on the page of 3.21. Right? Now, these are the ones which are very commonly used. Like, for example, the ball is in your court. That means it is your chance now. It totally depends on how you do it. You will use this a lot, right? Hard nut to crack. That is, it's a very difficult or a very difficult problem. It's very difficult to do it. To blow one's trumpet. Again, this is very common one. That means to praise oneself a lot, right? Now, how do you use that? My friend has a habit of blowing his own trumpet. That means there's a friend of mine who keeps talking about himself. Am I clear? Gift or gab, I've already told you, that speaking fluently and confidently. Beat around the bush. That means you are digressing from the topic. When you're talking to someone, you just don't want to come on the topic and you're just going here and there with whatever. You just don't want to talk about topic. You just go, you're beating around the bush, that you're not talking about the main topic and you're talking about everything else on this earth. Am I clear? To take French leave, to take a leave uninformed, right? So now this is an idiom. When you take a leave uninformed, the situation is called to take French leave, right? So because you do not involve anyone. A square meal, complete meal. When you have a complete meal, you call it a square meal, right? So these are all the idioms that you should know, and the other idioms that I've already mentioned here. So you should be able to you can find the entire list of idioms on the internet as well. So you should keep practicing idioms. You cannot know all the idioms together. You cannot learn in one go, but you should learn a few and start using them, and gradually you will know maybe a long list of idioms, right? Okay, so I want you to look at these two sentences and then quickly we will move on. A fair square policy of the chairman of the committee has made me very popular among the residents of the town. Now, the fair and square policy of the chairman of the committee has made me very popular among the residents of the town. That means fair and square means something very honest and straightforward. Okay. A fair weather friend always tries to fish in troubled waters of his friends and benefactors. Now, what does that mean? Now, there are two idioms here. Of course, I have marked only one. So, a fair weather friend is also an idiom, which means a person whose friendship is not relied on. You cannot rely on such a friend. So, fair weather friend means a friend who's not actually your friend. You can't rely on this person's friendship. So, now you have to tell me the meaning of to fish in troubled waters. To fish in troubled waters means to get benefit in bad situation. So a friend whose friendship is not relied on may be selfish. So that person tries to get benefit in a bad situation of his friends and benefactors also. Right? Am I clear? Okay. So just the last slide that I'm going to show you is this one. All the residents of the colony painted the town red on the eve of festival. Now, this is very easy. There are songs also on paint the town red. So all the residents of the colony paint the town red is to celebrate where a lot of noise is involved, right? So in happiness. So it's a C option, to celebrate noisily in public places. So the entire colony celebrated and they made a lot of noise and they in public places. The chairman pulled a long face when the House did not accept the suggestions put forth by him. Pulled a long face, this is very easy again, pulled a long face. Who makes a long face? When do you make it? When you're disappointed? Yes. When somebody is disappointed with someone, they make a long face. Yes. Am I clear? Yes, guys? Okay, so now are we clear about idioms? Is there anyone who has a problem with idioms? Ambiguous means when something is not clear. Okay, so on this note, I have almost finished the chapter 3, vocabulary here. You already have to remember when you're doing this chapter that, of course, this chapter is a base of learning, that's how you can learn the vocabulary part, right? But this is only to give you an idea. What are things that are involved to make a good and enriched vocabulary, right? How you can make your language better, how you can make your language enriched. I mean, how you can make yourself better, right? So if I start from, if I'll do a quick revision, like I told you that you learn from listening, speaking, reading and writing, right? So this is how the entire vocabulary works. You hear words, you listen to words, you use them, you write them, and this is how you get so used to of language, vocabulary in your natural language. Right? There are words that your brain registers and you don't even know that you know that word. You just use it subconsciously at times, right? Because somewhere your brain has heard that word or registered it, right? So if I talk about, always remember the points that I gave you, how you can build your vocabulary. Read, or listen to good content, I would say. Yeah. If you can't read, if you're not a reader, then listen to a good content. Okay. Pick a good news channel. Pick a good newspaper if you like. If you don't like to read novels and fiction and all of that. So you can just pick a good magazine or maybe a good newspaper that you like. Am I clear? Okay. So then I told you that you should always, whenever you find a new word, you can just quickly look at the meaning on your phone, or maybe you can write it down and then look for the word later. I mean, however you guys want it. But these days it's pretty much easier again, right? And if you can carry the dictionary, please do that. If you don't want to use phone too much, then please carry a small pocket dictionary everywhere. So like I said, we started from connotations. Connotations is basically the words that has some emotional meaning, right? Like I told you, there are words that absolutely literally mean something, but you decide they can be used in positively or negatively by how do they invoke a emotional or psychological feeling. Am I clear? Okay, synonyms and antonyms. These things are very important. Synonyms are important because when you're having a conversation about one particular thing, if you can use different words to describe that thing, that can make your conversation interesting. It will not make it boring. So even if you're telling someone that you're happy or you're sad or you're angry, you don't have to use the one word again and again that I am angry, I am angry, I am angry. No, you can use I am angry, I'm agitated, I'm annoyed, right? So you can use so many words to describe and to explain how you are feeling. So antonyms are important. You should know the antonyms of the words as well, right? Antonyms also makes your language better, right? If you're having a conversation and you're talking about one particular thing, so if you know the exact antonym of something, I think that conversation can become very good. Yes, and you should always know the antonyms. Whatever words you're using, maybe the situation will change in future. So you can use the antonyms to describe your situation. Right? Okay, maybe you're working in a team. You feel something about a particular situation or a particular project, right? And your teammate feels totally opposite to what you feel, right? So when you're having a discussion, you will be using a lot of synonyms and antonyms, right? Because whatever you're feeling, your teammate is feeling exactly the opposite, right? Am I clear? Yes. Are we clear about what I'm trying to say here? And you should, for synonyms and antonyms, you can always go to thesaurus.com and you can find. So whenever you write a word, you find the meaning and you find a long list of synonyms and antonyms there, right? Then we come to roots of words. So roots of words basically help you so that if you know the root of the verb, right? And whenever you read a new word that you do not know of, so if you know the root verb, then you can at least find that what this word can be associated with. Okay, so I've just spoken to the technical team and they said the video is fine. Okay, so now today we did the phrasal verbs. So phrasal verbs are kind of the compound verbs, and you can make phrasal verbs with a verb, and then you can add a preposition or an adverb, and you again the phrasal verbs have their own meaning. Using these phrasal verbs are very good. Having a knowledge of phrasal verb is good, at least even if you don't use it and you have a knowledge of the phrasal verb, you will at least get the context right when you are reading and when you're listening to someone, right? Somebody asked me that these phrasal verbs are not used formally. No, no, no. I said mostly they're not. You have to use phrasal verbs very, very carefully, right? You cannot use every phrasal verb just casually in your formal conversations, right? So phrasal verbs are mostly for the informal conversations. Am I clear? Collocations, when two words are together and they have a specific meaning together, we always use them together, right? And then we have idioms. Idioms are super important for you to know if you want to learn the vocabulary and the language perfectly well. Okay, a small exercise before I close this chapter completely. You are supposed to make me one sentence using the idiom, the ball is in your court. Super easy. I think you all can make a sentence with this idiom. Quickly send me your answers, which says, which has the ball is in your court. Quickly. One simple sentence. And then in the meantime, I am reading your query so that I can quickly answer them before the class gets over. Very interesting. I told my boss that if he doesn't pay me more money, I will leave. Now the ball is in his court. Okay. I have completed my task. Now the ball is in your court. Good, Latika. Somebody has asked me, connotation of nostalgia and sarcastic. If you're asking me if it is positive or negative, nostalgia is always in a good sense, in a positive sense that I feel nostalgic about it. Sarcasm is negative when you are sarcastic, when you're commenting on something in a negative way. Somebody has asked me if we learn idioms of studying material only. No, I think that is not going to be enough. There are just handful of idioms available in your ICAI material. You need to look for more. And I think besides this, I must have covered about 7 or 8 in my PPT. Look for more. The easy ones that you can start learning. There was another one I just lost. Who's asked me this? The student asked me that that we cannot find the meaning of the idiom. So by reading a sentence, so how can we do it? Idioms only you learn when you know the meanings of it. So you have to learn the meanings, then only you can guess, right? So that comes with practice. That comes with a lot of practice, I would say. So you can start with a little by little. Of course, by reading a sentence, you might not even get what this idiom exactly means. So you will only get the meaning of the sentence if you know the meaning of the idiom. So it's the other way around. About your exam papers, many of you again asked me how the questions will be and everything. Vocabulary based questions will be, that can be MCQ based. So for example, just the way I have showed you some examples in my slides, so you have a sentence, the thing that we are going to ask is in italics, then you have 4 options and you have to pick one. Am I clear? So mostly vocabulary questions I feel will be MCQ based. And for the chapter number 2, no, maybe you will have sentences that you have to change sentence from active to passive, from indirect to direct. You have to write the entire sentence. There won't be any options for that. Yes, I will be sharing the worksheet. And then maybe after the course is over, I will have one doubt class. So even if you have doubts, you can send it to me. And then towards the end, I'll have one doubt class where I will be sharing, where I will be discussing the worksheets with you. And those worksheets, so that you actually understand where you went wrong. And if there is any problem in the concept clarification, you will at least get clarification when I'm discussing the answers with you. Right? How many idioms are asked? 1 or 2 maybe. Somebody is again asking me, will these videos be available? Yes, these videos are available on YouTube. So under the page ICAI, these videos will be available there. Idioms, collocations, phrasal verbs are not related to each other. No, they're totally different from each other. Totally. All right, so there are no more queries. And on this note, thank you so much for attending my classes. And if today's class was good, please leave a feedback form. Please fill in the feedback form. That is important for me. And I wish you all the best for your other classes, for the other topics that you're going to cover. These two topics were very important because if now that your base is formed, if I've already laid down the foundations, you will find the other topics will, in comparison, you will find the other topics little easier. So if you know how to make a sentence structures, if you know how to use the vocabulary, you will be able to attempt the writing questions, right? So I tell you and I suggest you that you should practice for grammar and vocabulary a lot. Rest of the things will be improved on its own. You will understand more about the writing thing. You will understand more. Your comprehension will get better. Your writing will get better, right? And like I always say, this is not specific to just this 40 marks paper. This is going to help you overall in all your subjects and in your future. So please listen to all the lectures very carefully. All the topics that are there in P2B, you need to do them very carefully. This is going to be with you for life, right? So just be very careful, and I hope to see you guys soon with another topic. So all the best for everything, and happy studying and happy revising everything. Bye. Thank you.